and folds that make up the inside ear. But most ears, you can see the following folds. There's a small little bump right here, and then it goes up and around, and then that same line comes back out like this. So there'll be a little fleshy earlobe right here, and then inside here there's often a fold. So this is a finished ear. I've added a fold on the inside here, and the size and shape will vary depending on the person. And on my ear, this person has a detached earlobe, but other people might have earlobes that aren't so fleshy and much smaller. So depending on the person, you're going to have to really study hard and look at their ears so that you can draw exactly what you see. The challenge about drawing ears is that I'll have to make a second one on the other side of the head that is the same size but a mirror image of this one. When doing the eyes, usually you start off with a football-shaped eye. But we don't keep it football-shaped for long. I use a little ruler and I draw two parallel lines. One here and one here. And those two lines are used to reshape the eye so that it is a little bit more diamond shaped. I used an eraser to erase whatever is outside that line so that in the end I get a shape like this. Once you're finished drawing the eye shape, we're going to work on the iris and the pupil. When you're drawing the iris and the pupil, just think of donuts. I'm going to use a circular shape and cheat a bit because for this demonstration I want to be able to draw nice perfect circles. But you guys can use a stencil or you can just sketch it out. Okay, so I've basically drawn a circle, okay, and that's going to form the iris. Okay, and you'll notice that when I drew it, part of the iris is under the eyelid. Okay, when you look at a person's eyes, you never ever see the entire iris because a third or a quarter of the iris is always hidden underneath the upper eyelid. Now that I've drawn the iris, I'm going to work on the pupil. And the pupil varies in size. In bright light, it's smaller, and in dark situations, it's larger. I'm going to use a circular shape and draw a circle right in the middle. And when I'm done, you'll notice that I've basically formed a donut with a hole in the middle. Once you've drawn the pupil, what I usually do is I make a little shape like that, and all this part here I shade, but I'll leave out that little shape I drew in because that shape becomes the reflection that you see sometimes when light is bouncing off the smooth, wet surface of your eyeball. Okay, so I finished drawing in the pupil. Okay, and after you draw in the pupil, you can add these lines here that radiate out from the center. Okay, and these are the lines that are often colored. Okay, some people have brown, some have green. Okay, but you'll notice that the way I'm drawing them, they all aim and point towards the center of the pupil. They're kind of like the spokes of a bicycle. Okay, I'm going to take an eraser, and if I didn't mention it earlier, I'll mention it now. This is the left eye I'm drawing, so right here, I'm just going to erase a little bit. This is the inner part of the left eye, and I'm going to draw a little shape like this. It's no longer as pointed, it's just a little bit round. And that is going to be the tear duct of the left eye. Okay. I'm going to get an eraser and erase the part of the iris that you can't really see anyway, because that's going to be under the eyelid. And I'm going to clean this up a bit. Okay. And while I'm at it, I'm going to also erase some of these other guidelines, because you don't need to see these anymore. And now that I've cleaned it up, I'm going to add a line up here, an arc representing a fold in our upper eyelid. And down here, I can draw another line representing a fold in the lower eyelid, if there is one. Some people have it, some people don't. You're going to have to just study and look at the person that you're drawing and decide whether you need to draw one or not. After I've drawn the upper and lower folds, I'm going to add in some eyelashes right here. And usually the hairs are very fine and curved, so you're going to have to draw a lot of them. And there you go. That is the left eye. To make the right eye, you would have to do everything in reverse or a mirror image. And it is difficult to make two eyes that look the same in terms of size and proportion, but with some practice you should be able to do that. Here we are again. We're back to the template that we created earlier, and I know the position of the eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Now it's just a matter of putting in the facial features. So I'll start with the nose because it's the easiest. Remember what I told you earlier, 5 U's. So I know that this is the bottom of the nose and I have to make it this wide. So I'll make 1 U, 2nd U, 3rd U, 4th U, and a 5th U. Okay. And I can use an eraser just to clean it up a bit. But that's the nose. Okay, I'm going to work on the mouth now. Remember I told you 2 M's and 1 W. So here's the upper lip, here's the lower lip. The upper lip, I'll make my M. The first M is done right here. I'll make another M, and then on the bottom I'll make the W. Okay. Now, I might have exaggerated the sharpness of the lips just to prove a point, but in your drawing you can soften it a bit so that it's not so noticeable. But when you're done, you should have a pretty reasonable looking lip. Okay, I know where the ears are going to be, and I know how big it is because it has to be below the eyebrows and above the nose. I'm going to just sketch in the half hearts, and then that will help me draw a nice smooth shape for the ear. I'll get my eraser and clean up the insides a bit, and then I'll work on the folds. There's this fold here, goes around, back in, back out, and then there should be an inside fold right here. And then I'll repeat on this side. The heart shape, draw a line, but I did a good job even without drawing the heart shapes. So I'll just clean it up. And then I'll compare with the left side. And there's one fold, it goes around, back in, back out. And there I've got 2 ears that look pretty close in terms of size and overall shape. I've saved the very hardest part for the end, and for me the hardest part is drawing the eyes. I'm going to get a ruler, and for each eye I'm going to draw those parallel lines to reshape the eyes. So I've done one side, and using the same angle I'll reshape the other eyes, and so that gives me a better overall shape. So bringing out my eraser, going to clean up these guidelines a bit. Now that I'm happy with the overall shape of the eyes, I will take a stencil, and you can do this freehand, but because I'm demonstrating, I like to make things look as good as I can. So I'm going to draw 2 circles, and this represents the iris. Okay. And then I'll draw a second pair of circles, and this will represent the pupil. And again, you can choose different size pupils